Hello, my darlings. Hello, hello, hello. I hope you're all well. I hope everybody's doing spiffingly well. How are you? It's been a minute. It's been a little while since we did a show last, right? I guess so. I don't know. I'm around. I'm on other shows. I'm on other things, but yeah, I haven't done the old Banksy show for a while. So I thought I'd jump on and do a little something, a little late night ting. I'm not sure anyone's going to be out there. Oh, big up, Dragon. How's it going? So I guess there are some people out in the wilderness, awake this evening, and yeah, checking out. Okay, sorry guys, I'm a little distracted. Just wanna get the chat up and see what's happening. I guess, yeah, we are live. We are doing our thing. Hello, Victoria. I hope you're well, my darling. Yeah, there isn't really much else going on tonight, so didn't really have anything else happening. There was no other shows that I could jump on and do, and chit chat. So I guess if there's no one else chit-chatting, I'll have to chit-chat. I'll have to do it myself. So yeah, so how's everything? Hope you're all well. Hope everybody's good. This is it's a quick, I'm hoping it's a quick video. I don't know, depending on who wants to jump on the panel. I'm going to open the panel up almost straight away because I want to see if anyone else is interested in this conversation. Oh my goodness. Oh, my Muslim brother, Charles Brosnan. Charles Brosnan. You've seen the movie Banksy? No, I haven't actually. I think that's the guy that was, the one who was in prison. No, I haven't seen that one. So we'll see what's. I'll check it out when I get a chance. I think Tom Hardy plays him. That right? Is that right? I think so. Anyway, getting off topic. Yeah, just reacting to the reactors, as they say. Just doing a reaction video of Just Pearly Things on Piers Morgan, and I'm actually doing a reaction video of Aber and Preach doing a reaction video to Just Pearly Things on Piers Morgan. This is like Inception, a dream within a dream within a dream, a reaction of a reaction of a reaction. So yeah, I'm actually reacting to all the reactors. Yeah, good man. Yeah, that's what I thought. Oneness. Yeah, I gotta check it out. It's been out a long time. Okay, a little sip of lemon. So what are we doing, boys and girls? Tonight we are checking out Pearl, just as Aber and Preach call it, just lonely things, just manly things, just ginger things. We're checking out Aber and Preach's reactions. Now, the reason I'm doing Aber and Preach's reactions is because I think Pearl actually did it quite okay on the Piers Morgan show, and I think that is why when I saw Aber and Preach. Now, to caveat this, I like Aber and Preach. I actually think they're quite good. They they're funny. They got good takes on a lot of things. They're fairly sensible and sort of in the middle with most things, except when it comes to Pearl. When it comes to Pearl, they're not really. I mean, don't get me wrong. Pearl hasn't done herself any favors. She said some things that have invoked the reactions Aber and Preach are giving her. But nevertheless, I think this particular one is a little bit disingenuous. This one, I think she did okay on this show. She actually did all right, didn't make any ridiculous takes. Although Piers Morgan really didn't put her on the spot. He kind of brought on this other hysterical feminist woman who's literally on record saying that men should be afraid of women. He brought her on, I guess, to challenge Pearl, and I don't know, but I don't think that other girl knows much about Pearl. I don't think she's seen the Nick Fuentes stuff, because they never asked one single Nick Fuentes question. Now, maybe that was a caveat for Pearl not going, for going on. Maybe she said it behind the scenes. They don't want to discuss it, or they don't want to bring it up. I don't know exactly the Nick Fuentes situation. How they would research Pearl, but they didn't bring up the Nick Fuentes thing one bit. They didn't bring up the fact that she discussed how George Washington's slaves kind of saw him as a father figure, and all of that stuff. They didn't bring any of that racial stuff up. They just brought a few points which actually about women voting, which Pearl kind of held her own and didn't really sound like too ridiculous. Because I think from the feminist modern perspective, women having the vote or having the vote taken away from them is now become ridiculous, like unheard of, unfathomable. There are plenty of women living in the Middle East who don't really have the vote. There are plenty of women living in Afghanistan who don't have any rights. Believe it or not, the women in Iran have the right to vote. But I guarantee you, if you gave them the option of having the right to vote versus having all the other freedoms that women enjoy in the West, they would probably give up the right to vote to have all the other freedom to not have to wear that stupid hijab and not have to be under the thumb of every man and every mullah in the country. So yeah, given the choice, I think women in Iran would actually give up the vote for all the other freedoms. And ironically, yeah, the women in Iran have the right to vote. Are they really free? They have the right to vote. So they must be all feminists. Iran's a feminist country, right? I can't be a mess. I can't see messages. What the fuck? Oh, okay. Yeah, jump in and out. Oneness. Maybe something's wrong, but I can see all the messages so far that have been posted by Victoria. So big up Victoria, big up Oneness, big up Dragon. So far, I wish people spoke clearly and to the point. So presumptions of what meant don't take years to clarify. I know, but the thing is, I think a lot of people just talk without thinking anyway. I do all the time. Half the time I don't even know what the fuck. People come back to me on other shows and say to me, "Oh, why did you say that to me the other night? Or why did you say that about me the other night on I don't know, Veli's show or some other show?" And I'm like, "All right, what the hell did I say?" Because I say so much crap. I can't even remember sometimes the shit that I'd said. Help me sleep. Tell me who presenter is I feel ill. What the? I don't mark. That sentence doesn't make sense. Oh my days. Yo. Hey, big up Mr. Darius. I hope everything is good. So yeah, let's get into this, boys and girls. But before we get into it too deeply, let us do a little bit of shilling for my other channel, Hafez Reflects. Yes, indeed, Hafez Reflects. Please go and like and subscribe, or just subscribe, because after this show is finished, I will take the show offline and post it to Hafez Reflects, because I just want to start increasing traffic. Although I'm trying to sort of create unique content just for that channel. I'm trying to create something, but unfortunately at the moment I'm not really I'm a little bit stuck to what I should go down. I know what I should do is I should go down to central London and start interviewing people with questions like the channel what's it called, the channel It's Complicated channel. I got to question people in London the way he does it in Vegas. I'm pretty much gonna try and do that, but it requires me getting out and about. Twitter, nothing's happening in Twitter. Forget the tweets. So yeah, go to Hafez Reflects, and please, yeah, give a sub to that, because once I start producing some content for that, then that should help the algo. But in the meanwhile, yeah, you can go ahead and like and subscribe this channel, or like this show if you so desire. Okay, let's get into this bad boy, huh? How many do we have? Let's see if we've managed to delay enough to get a couple of people watching. Okay, that's all right. That's a good few people. Okay, let's see if we can tear Aber and preach a new one, huh? Now, this is their intro.
Doesn't the sanctity of marriage also...
Okay, I will tell you. This woman is horrific and annoying as hell. I despise her to her core, especially with that line, men should be afraid of women. That is the worst. Thank you, Darius. That is the worst take I've ever seen a woman give, especially these radical feminists. But unfortunately, that is what they want. That is what they intend. They want men to be deathly afraid of women, and they don't realize how much damage that's going to make to that's going to cause young boys and their overall confidence in actually approaching a woman and actually wanting to marry one of these harpies. The problem is, these are the same women who's probably in her 20s now, maybe early 30s, who will then be complaining about why there aren't any good men when she hits the wall in her mid-30s, and then when she goes past the wall in her early 40s. She's the type who's going to be complaining and writing articles about there are no good men, why aren't men marrying women anymore, what happened, I hate my cats. That's the thing. This is the same woman who would say something ridiculous like men should be afraid of women is the same kind of woman who will then write articles and start bitching and complaining about there are no good men, why aren't men marrying me now that I've been ran through by all the chads in my 20s, and now I hit the wall and I need a couple of kids. So that's the problem. These same women who want, because they're in the prime, they know they can get any man they want now. When they pass their prime, will be complaining why no man is coming for them.
Rely on the woman being a virgin, so you wouldn't be able to get married.
Like that was some kind of like hot take, and look at Preach. That is I got to screenshot that pose. Could someone please screenshot that moment? I'm gonna have to come back to this. That is an awkward mouth shape. It's making me feel uncomfortable.
That was petty.
But how do you meet a guy that you respect? Because
now I don't understand why are Aber and Preach showing a clip of Ethan Hunt and H3 interviewing Pearl. What is that got to do with the reacting to the Piers Morgan show? Because I know why, and you'll see it clearly. I'll point it out later on, but you'll see clearly why they pivot to Ethan rather than sticking with the Piers Morgan interview.
he's settling on you. Don't you see that there's a paradox here?
The New York Post called her the female Andrew Tate. So she tapped into genuine female pushback to the excesses of wokery, or is she just an attention seeker? We'll find out in a moment. But first, let's take a look at the clip that sent her viral.
Okay, they're gonna take. I mean, look. Pearl isn't exactly the sexiest woman on the planet. Okay, she doesn't dress particularly sexy. She's very frumpy. She's a bit of a gangly tall girl, very white and redheaded. And I despise when she does this. She tries to be all hip hop. Oh my God. Every time she does that, I cringe so hard. My spine contracts when she goes, yeah, I can rap, yeah. The whitest woman on the planet trying to pretend to be some kind of black. It's the worst. To me, that's just the worst. So yeah, I despise it when she does certain things, but that's all right. That's her thing.
People think I'm insane because I don't think women should vote.
Women voting or not voting isn't the crux of it. It's not the problem. Again, it's not really the central issue. Women in Iran can vote. Women in Iraq can vote. But is feminism running rampant in Iraq and Iran? Are women just cuckolding men in Iran? No, it's still a deeply patriarchal society where women are severely oppressed. Anyway, they can vote, but that means nothing to their overall freedoms and social status.
Everybody thinks I'm crazy for this opinion.
Sorry, that dress is crazy.
Okay, if you know, okay, they go to the dress, they go to ad hominems. I mean, I'm sorry, I can go to the ad homs too, fellas. You know, you guys have not always looked your best. Okay, let me give you a hint of what I mean. When I was looking for the thumbnail of Aber and Preach, I came across this bad boy. Should have had it ready. Okay, boys. Okay, Abba, that is what's going on here. What is that? What is all that? What are we looking at here? And how many? I mean, look, dude, look at Preach's hand. I wear a few of these, like, you know, friendship bracelets, they call them. I don't know what the fuck they call them. They call them friendship bracelets or sort of volcanic stones. They're supposed to, you know, align your chart. How many do you have, Abba? Half your arm are these bracelets. I mean, you know, 2 or 3, man. I don't know. I mean, you know, we could go there. We could go there, fellas. You want ad homs, you want to take the mick out of looks. Trust me, you guys are no oil painting. And I'm the one that's saying that.
That dress is crazy.
Strawberry fields forever.
I would not normally care, but it's just like this girl's preaching everyone they're too masculine or whatever, they're not fit to be wives, and I'm just like, this is what I imagine a Mormon stylist would look like. But anyways,
Everybody thinks I'm crazy for this opinion. If anything, this is probably my most extreme opinion. 95.
Look, it is what it is. I'm gonna forward some of this because, as I say, I generally don't find. I'm not here to do a response video to Pearl. I'm here to do a response video to Abba.
The complaint.
Okay, well, Pearl.
Okay, first of all, I got to give it to Pearl. This was her best look. I've got to give it to her. She combed the hair, and she's, you know, got a little bit of makeup on, little foundation going on over there. You know, I guess she figured this is a big TV moment for her. Pearl earrings, pearl necklace, obviously pearl. So she's, you know, this, and I have to give it to Abba and Preach. I think they compliment her on this.
Ooh, okay. Hey, okay, Pearl.
Let's go, Pearl. See, you can do it, Pearl. Let's go.
Hey, with a little pearl necklace. You don't think I see the touch?
Let's go.
Your hair groomed.
Yeah, you
She's so
did that.
proud of you.
CCM did that
She's
thing.
so proud of you.
Let's
Okay,
go.
you look at eye today.
Yeah.
You're still dumb as fuck, but you look at eye.
Good job, my girl.
Congratulations.
Good job.
John's been alongside political journalist Ava Santini.
Yeah, I despise this one. This girl, like, everything about this is despicable. There's just so much that I have you ever seen someone that has a punchable face? I don't want to, you know, sound like a violent man. You know, I'm a peaceful, harmonious man, as you all know. But someone who has a punchable face, that's what comes to mind.
And he was nodding furiously along there to everything she heard.
I hate this girl. This girl's always on fucking Pierce Morgan.
Dude, why are you swearing? Why you swear? You guys have got 1 million and you're effing and blinding here. You got 2 million. 2 million subs here, Abba. Preach. You're effing.
She's so dumb.
You don't like her?
The girl beside Pearl.
You don't like her?
She like the feminist side of like the dumb side of argument.
You don't like this?
No. She was there for like the Jordan Peterson stuff and some of the Andrew Tate debates, and like she just always had dumb takes.
Just want to quickly point something out as well. What is Preach wearing? Now I'm presuming this one is Preach, right? The dreadlocks is the Preach, and the black T-shirt with the teeth is Abba. I'm going with that. I'm pretty sure that's the case. Anyway, what's with this harness? He always wears this, and it looks like a gun harness, but I don't think it's a gun. I don't think he wears guns. I don't know. I always wondered why he always wears this, and he always wears this like this other. Sometimes he wears this like stab-proof vest. I guess this must be a look. Must be a thing.
She was there for like the
I wear
Jordan
the cap.
Peterson stuff and some of the Andrew Tate debates, and like she just always had dumb takes.
Right, Pearl, you'd be called the female Andrew Tate. How do you plead?
Well, I take it as a compliment. You know, I'm a fan of Andrew Tate.
You're talking about women predominantly, which is why you've got this big following. And your view is that modern feminism is deeply flawed. I would argue a lot of your proposals, like taking the vote away from women, are deeply regressive. Mm-hmm. Why would you want to remove, just from yourself, the right to vote?
Well, it also goes back to responsibility. Again, men are 80 to 90% of the military. They run all of the infrastructures that make society run. So I just think if we want an equal say in society, then be equal. Do 50%.
It's not just be equal. I mean, she keeps saying, she wants to press this be equal sort of side of things. I think that she should have pressed actually the hallmark of voting comes with responsibilities. Women want to get rights without responsibilities. One of the responsibilities in the United States, I don't think that applies in the UK, but in the United States, is if you're eligible to vote, you're eligible to be signed up for the draft. So, yeah, there are certain social responsibilities that you have to come. I mean, I don't even agree with everyone having the vote anyway. I mean, I'm not even for having men just automatically get the vote. I don't want anyone to get the vote automatically. I think the right to vote has to be earned. You should have done something for the country to get the right to vote. If you want to have a say in the way the country is run, then you should have done something to help the country improve. Whether it's military service or civil service, but I think there should be a mandatory civil service or military service. I think when they took away the things like the draft from the European countries, some of them, not all of them, like Switzerland still has it, Turkey still has it, but when they took away the mandatory aspect of having to do military service when you come of age, I think that was a great mistake. I think that should come back. They should bring back mandatory service for at least 1 to 2 years when you reach the age of 18, just like most other countries still have it. Iran still has it, and many other countries still do. Israel, of course, has it. But I think, yeah, it's perfectly fine. If you want to vote, serve your country. Actually have done something to put yourself, have a stake in that country in order for you to get the vote. I don't think random folks should get the vote. I certainly don't think those who've only arrived in Britain a few years and have got themselves, I don't know, a leave to remain or even a British passport should automatically get the right to vote. Why would you want Shamima Bingham to vote? I don't want Ali Dawa and Mohammed Hijab to be able to have a say in this country's governance without them ever serving this country, without ever sacrificing themselves, putting themselves in harm's way for this country. No, these people are getting the right to vote for and still continue to hate this country. I think we will find a massive shift in people's attitudes when it comes to this country if people had to serve this country for a few years and then have the privilege to vote. Not the right to vote, the privilege to vote. I think that's where the misunderstanding is. Voting is a privilege, not just an automatic right. You don't get to say how this country is run just because you climbed out of a vagina or got yourself a blue passport or British citizenship. No, earn your right to vote, and that way you will have the privilege to vote. And some people say, oh well, old people, if I bring my 68-year-old 70-year-old grandmother from Uzbekistan and she becomes a British citizen after a few years, well, she can't do military service. No, she can do some sort of service. If there was civil service, she'll have to do some form of civil service, civil work, in order to volunteer. Old people volunteer in homeless shelters and all sorts of different things all the time. She'd have to do something. I'm not saying you have to do you have to be in frontline combat and join the SAS, but you would have to do something in order to earn the right to vote.
Of the hard jobs, be 50% of the military in the U.S.
I think the whole argument about men do the more dangerous jobs, so they should be the only ones to vote, is so dumb to me. Because I'm like, I'm in the military and I'm doing the more dangerous job. Why should you, a male who's a civilian, not do a dangerous job, get to vote the same as me? Forget women. I don't give a. The only people in you.
That's the problem, Abba. Listen, they have such dumb takes. No. It's not that you do the most dangerous jobs. It's not rated by your jobs. It's to do with your service to your country. And I'm not saying that a civilian should vote either. You see, this is where my position, I guess, and Pearl's position changes. If Pearl changes her position to not everyone gets to vote, you have to earn your right to vote. You do civil service or military service, then you have the right to vote, then fine. And no, And again, aberrant they're going to go down this road of, oh, well, if I go to front lines and I get shot for my country, then do I get like 2 votes? And if you work in the mechanics or a cook on a ship, you get 1 vote? No, but it's to do with pride in your country. It develops a sense of patriotic connection to your nation. That's the point, not the fact whether you vote or not. It's whether you actually feel patriotic towards your country.
Your world, if we're using your logic to the extreme, why should a dude who shares the same fucking genitalia get to vote just like me if he's not doing the same job? I'm out there on the front lines dying, right? If I'm doing the military job.
This is why you're dumb. This is the problem. And unfortunately, you don't think things through. You think that that's the point. The point isn't the difficulty or the stress or the danger of the job. It's to do with establishing a nation where the citizens who vote for the politicians that govern us have a sense of patriotism towards the nation. They're not just some freeloaders who just came off a boat and 5 years later they get a British passport and then they can vote in whatever jihadi they want. That's where this is the problem with Belgium. This is the problem with France, where in a few years the majority of immigrants are going to be so much greater than the natives that they're going to vote in some kind of Islamist jihadist government. This is how crazy Hitler likes get voted in, because people don't have that sense of connection, patriotism, and responsibility. That your vote is an actual. It carries weight. It carries meaning. Most people don't even vote. Most of these idiots who actually have the right to vote, they don't even vote. You know how many people I know never voted for Brexit or never voted for or against Brexit? Never voted in the Brexit referendum. Never voted in myriads of referendums. I know people who have never voted in their entire life. And they've had this right their whole life. So it's clearly a waste on the populace. And if the populace don't use that privilege, then I don't think they deserve it. They should earn it. If they earn it, they will use it. I promise you, in a country that your vote is tied to your service to your nation or to some task, some thing you have to accomplish, you'll find a much higher voting rates than countries that don't have any connections or ties to their ability to vote. It's just given. It's nothing.
Why should a fucking civilian be the one to tell me who I'm going to go kill and vote by voting? Why should anybody who doesn't do a hard job? But she doesn't think that, because her logic, it's only gendered, okay? And it's only meant to appeal to men. That's how she plays for her team. There is no reason to explain this difference.
Even someone that goes to war. Yeah. Not everybody that goes to war is equal. I am sorry.
But we're not just talking about just everyone has to be equal. This is nonsensical crap. When was the first... when was this first aired? This came out about 3-4 days ago on Piers Morgan. So yeah, the Piers Morgan version. I'm gonna go to the Piers Morgan version in a minute. I just want to run the Aberrant Priest segment.
True. Special forces, cooks on a boat, and generals. Yeah, this is not the same fucking.
That's not the point. So unfortunately, they're just making moronic points at this point.
Danger.
Let's go. Let's talk about it.
If you're on the field, you get 3 votes. Yep. If you're on the field, but you say on the boat, you get 1.5 votes. If you're a general, you get 75% of a vote.
Listen, let's be honest about this. If danger or difficult jobs is the metric by which, then there's a lot of men who don't get to vote. And what about the women who go to the military and they do the dangerous jobs too? Should they be allowed to? What about any woman who does a job which involves a lot of death? Should she be allowed to vote? She's not making a coherent logic based on the merits. It's just gendered nonsense. I just want
to respond to cognitive dissonance. No, I disagree. If you pay tax, you don't earn the right to vote. Just paying tax isn't enough. I don't think so. I think that's just too basic. No. If you want to have a say in your government, you should serve the government. You should serve the country. Just merely paying tax isn't enough.
Understand that if it's just going to be about dangerous work, make it about that. Say that the people who put their lives on the line should have.
By the way, when I say you should serve the government, I mean you should have served for a small period of time. You should have at least enlisted in the military or civil service for a period of time. Just like, having some kind of mandatory military service in other countries. A small period of time. But actually, I don't want it to be mandatory. I want it to be optional. You can serve, just like Starship Troopers. You can serve and get the privileges afterwards, or you can remain a civilian, and not have those privileges. So that's really what it is. I want it to be of that level. You serve and you get certain privileges. You don't serve, you don't get those privileges. Taxes, paid or not paid, is irrelevant. And besides, so many people who are on benefits get the right to vote. Should people on benefits then, according to your logic, actually, is that if you pay taxes, you should be able to vote. Then the people on benefits shouldn't have the right to vote. Why is it people on benefits have the right to vote? Doesn't really make sense. That doesn't equate.
The most amount to lose. And I could at least get behind that.
Ava, your mouth seems to have dropped about.
No, do you know what it's sort of like?
I know.
It's just sort of
I'll be honest, I was hoping her head would explode.
a bit galaxy brain. I feel like, the stats that you're putting down are perhaps correct in some universe.
Which stats?
They just kind of don't really add up. I mean, just to take
She says your stats are correct, perhaps, and then they says they don't really add up. If you can't, Pearl asked you which stats. You couldn't name which stats, and yet at the same time they don't add up. What? You're clearly not listening. You're clearly not listening. This is just you waiting your turn to disagree.
take you back to the women's writings that you've allegedly read.
Again, every comment is a put down. Allegedly read.
I mean, at
Allegedly?
The time, well, at the time,
How do you know she didn't read them? This is just you being disagreeable for the sake of being disagreeable.
Just let the people talk.
Pearl want to make fun of feminists saying they're so masculine, but you're the one that can't shut the fuck up.
You see, this is the thing. They take those jabs that girl threw at Pearl and reverse it and blame Pearl for over talking the girl. The girl is literally throwing shade at Pearl. Those statistics that allegedly, or those statistics that don't add up, that she can't mention which statistics, and then the allegedly letters that she's already throwing shade at her, saying she didn't read the letters, her statistics don't add up. She's been throwing shade at Pearl in like the last 2 or 3 comments she made, but when Pearl interjects and actually pushes back, Aberrant Preach complain, you're talking too much.
When someone else is talking.
Now, you see, this is the problem. This is disingenuous. This is why I found this video to be extremely disingenuous from Aberrant Preach. You guys are just here to knock Pearl. I'm not saying Pearl is the greatest, but this video is not an honest video either. You guys are bad actors in this one, as well as being bad actors.
She let you speak. Pearl want to tell everybody how they're not right to be wives, but here you are. You can't shut the fuck up. You on programs, putting yourself front and center, want to make the most amount of money. Hey, I'm just saying, you the opposite of everything you preach. Every change.
Yeah. I'm gonna fast forward some of this.
Thanks,
that you're talking about, women weren't really allowed to write. They weren't allowed to go to school.
Yes, they were.
Write.
Yes, they were. That's incorrect. The first female
female
property owner was in the 1600s. The idea that women.
Now the thing is, yes, there were plenty of women who were property owners, who were successful, who were millionaires. Even black women under Jim Crow and slavery era were successful. There were even black slave owners, as we know. There were not only black slave owners, actually there were Native American slave owners, which blew my mind when I discovered that one. So yeah, there were Native American slave owners, black slave owners, as well as women who were slave owners themselves, as well as successful businesswomen, multimillionaires. And it is true. Unfortunately, I don't have any of those clips ready. I should have actually got those clips ready. I forgot about this bit. But nevertheless, yeah, I mean, we don't even have to go down the line. In Britain, we've literally had successive queens. Queen Elizabeth, Queen Victoria, the last Queen Elizabeth that reigned for over 70 years. We've had plenty of women at the top of the food chain and with plenty of power in this country To say that women have not actually had power and they only got the power like in the 1900s when they with the suffragette movements is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. There were plenty of powerful women in Europe, certainly, way before women ever had the right to vote.
Couldn't work and couldn't.
I'm so sorry, but that will be inherited property.
The first female millionaire was in the late 1800s.
And was that?
Yeah, this is how you know Pearl is like such a disingenuous clown. They're both wrong about this. Could women work in the 16th century? Yeah, but it was limited jobs. Stuff like weaving and things that were already related to housework. And even then, they didn't have...
No, that's not even correct. I mean, they're not even mentioning, not to mention the queens, the successive queens that this Britain has had. They don't even fucking want to mention there were literally rulers of Britain that were women. But no, women were still oppressed. You know, those queens were under some kind of oppression. You're not even making... You don't make sense. You're not even acknowledging the heads of states of various European countries way before the time women had the right to vote. Yes, women were still in a patriarchal society. That's exactly the same as in Iran. In Iran, women have the right to vote. Are they free? So clearly having the right to vote isn't the be and end all. That isn't the issue. That isn't what equates to freedom.
Equal pay for this stuff.
No.
They didn't have any labor rights. They weren't even allowed to dictate.
No one had labor rights. They would send children up chimneys to clean them. Literally, they had child labor. How is it that women suddenly didn't have labor rights? No one had labor rights.
Any kind of workplace, anything the same way that men could. And they weren't allowed to occupy most occupations or jobs.
Neither did men or Jews.
I ain't talking about stuff that required physical work. Just any job they weren't allowed to have. It was very, very limited. So Pearl's sitting here be like, no, the women could work. They couldn't even choose higher education. They couldn't go to university. They couldn't do any of this stuff. It was quartered off to them by their gender.
Yeah, but the first homeowner was in the 1600s.
You know what I mean?
How did she get that house?
It makes me think of that time where Pearl brought up that study that said women find men who do chores really unattractive, and it's like a study from the 1991
in the Cosmo.
Yeah, in 1991. Even though she got more recent studies, she's gonna go to the only number that basically jives with what she want to say, and then she's gonna say, "I do my research." Like no. It's fine to concede on this point. Yes, women were second-class citizens in the 16, 17, 1800s. That's okay. It's only, I think, in the 19...
Men were second-class citizens. There was the serfdom. The men. There was the peasant class, and then the upper class. That's been the same for thousands of years. There's been the peasant class, the farming class, literally in China, in Britain, everywhere. It's not just women that were the second-class citizens. Men were second-class, and men had peasant classes amongst them. This middle-class thing is a recent thing. In fact, it's a product of the industrial era. So again, it doesn't matter. It doesn't make any difference. I mean, okay, yes, Pearl is pointing it out in order to bolster her own narrative of women were not as oppressed as they make out they were, and to continue with her kind of narrative of men in the modern era are actually more oppressed than women, etc., which you can debate. But the fact is that it wasn't this all the men were living it up in luxury, and the women were just ball and chained to the kitchen sink. No. It was men and women together. They were all in the peasant class. They were all suffering together. There wasn't this massive divide between men and women. It was the upper class and the lower class, or the peasant class. Literally, landlords and those who lived on their land.
19th century, where women really started to participate in the labor force due to like wars and stuff like that, was absolutely necessary. And then a lot of rights came after the fact.
It's just Pearl doing just pearly things.
Hey, listen.
Let's get on to the vote. So what I don't understand is, a part of your message, I've researched you today, and hang on a minute.
Okay.
Your big push is that you care about men and you don't think that men are getting enough of a say. But
Well, I
thanks
care.
Now, you see, the one thing I want to quickly point out, this blonde-haired chick and Piers Morgan the same, they didn't really research Pearl. I mean, she's like, I researched you today. That's why they didn't get on the Nick Fuentes stuff. They didn't come across the Nick Fuentes stuff before the show. They did a quick, sort of surface level search. Pearl had released those strawberry, the thing about women not being able to vote in that strawberry dress only a few days ago. So they literally saw her most recent videos and just went from that narrative. They didn't delve deeper, and they certainly, I know Pearl has scrubbed the Nick Fuentes stuff from her own social media, but they didn't really go to Trigonometry or H3 podcast or anything else talking about the slavery issues that she brought up, the Nick Fuentes interview. That's why I think Pearl got off lightly on this one, because they really didn't delve much deeper than that very surface level stuff with her, because if they had done, she would have been in the shit.
Hang on, I haven't made the point yet.
I've seen her. The girl didn't interrupt her a single time, and she's interrupted her 5-6 times.
That's because Pearl never threw any shade at the girl. She stated her position. She never started talking about the girl being disingenuous or allegedly read this or not that. The girl threw 5 or 6 jabs at Pearl within the first 2 or 3 of her sentences. So Pearl just is responding to the shade that she's getting from the girl. She's getting insults and put downs from the girl.
I can't fucking.
Pearl State being the less feminine girl I know.
Because of feminism, okay? What I wonder is when you start making calls out like repeal the 19th, women shouldn't be allowed to vote. How is that helping young men? Because these young men have women in their lives. They have mothers, they have sisters, they have teachers. And they turn around, they don't know how to act around women because you're...
What the hell does that got to do with repealing the vote? Like if women didn't have the right to vote, you're telling me that effectively you're telling me that men or young boys who are raised in households in Afghanistan and in Iran and places, well, actually in Iran they have the right to vote, but the places where women don't have the right to vote, Saudi Arabia, they suddenly are insulting and belittling their mothers and their sisters. They suddenly have those sort of... No, actually they don't. Okay, don't get me wrong, they're far more patriarchal and misogynistic, not misogynistic, but they don't put women in the same level of high pedestals as they do in the West. But as far as I know, and I know a lot of Arabs and a lot of Iranians, if they said something wrong or bad to their mothers, the mothers will beat the crap out of them. I can tell you to this very day, there are grown-ass Arab men who still, if their mother picks up a spoon and smacks them, they become a 2-year-old child all of a sudden, within seconds. So, no, this notion that the vote is somehow made women credible in the household, or young boys respect their mothers and sisters more because they have the vote, it's nonsensical stuff. Nothing connects to anything. These things are not related whatsoever. You respect your mother, you respect your sisters because you're taught to respect your mother and your sisters by your family, by your mom and your dad. That's where it goes. It doesn't matter how many votes women have or they don't. If you're raised in a household that doesn't respect your mother, your father doesn't respect your mother, and shows you through example that you can disrespect your mother, you grow up disrespecting your mother. You grow up disrespecting your sisters. It comes from the father. Ironically, most households in the West are single-parent families anyway. They don't actually even have a father around. So it's the mother that's actually the one who dishes out the discipline. I can't say disciplinarian, something like that. Anyway, moving on.
Giving them license to be misogynistic.
No. The other thing is also you don't know what misogynistic is. This is the problem with modern feminists. They keep throwing out the word misogynist and they don't actually recognize what it is. Most men don't hate women. Most men don't grow up hating their mothers and their sisters because they couldn't vote or because they feel that their mothers have to be submissive to their father. That is not what misogyny means. I think I have to cut in that clip. I don't believe you keep using that word, but I don't think you know what this word means.
I wouldn't call it misogynistic. I say be equal. So again, men
think
do
that's what
all of
most
the.
feminists are
Well,
saying.
then okay, I'd love for the feminists. Please apply for the oil rigs. Please go do the hard jobs in society. They're
don't you
open.
go and
They're
work there?
hiring because I don't equate for. I don't think men or women are equal until we do the
Right.
equal work.
Pearl bringing up the whole equality thing is like, you know, maybe I'm just not aware of what's being said in these circles, but it's not like women don't contribute to our society in terms of the workforce.
That's not what she said. You see, this is the other thing. Look at this. Look at how they're going to totally misunderstand and misrepresent what Pearl says. Pearl didn't say women don't contribute to the society. That's not what she said. She said that if you want equality, do half the hard ass work. Do the work that is back-breaking work that keeps this society alive, keeps this society afloat. The stuff that men literally go and have the same level of work-related mortalities as men do, because women certainly don't.
I think women account for it's like 1/3 of the country's GDP.
That's not the point. That is not what she said. You are misrepresenting what she said.
Right? So in terms of economic contributions, in terms of their...
Nobody said economic contributions. We're talking about infrastructure. She talked about oil rigs and plumbers. Where is your stats on plumbers and bricklayers and oil rig workers that are increasing 50 towards the 50% mark with women? Where are those stats? Could you please bring me the stats of the construction working, the construction industry, and what we have men versus women? I think it's like something like I gotta cut. Later on I'm gonna probably cut this with the actual figures. But we're looking in the upper 90s. Upper 90% are men that do the construction works, all the back-breaking, horrific, low IQ and laborious work. Yeah, it's all men. It's men down in your sewers. It's men up in your skyscrapers building them, and it's your men in your oil rigs and down under the sinks doing the plumbing, the electric work, and all the rest. It's all men. The women are barely a percentage.
Work. They're a huge contributor. If women were to do what Pearl wants them to do, which is go home, stay there, be housewives, don't have jobs, whatever the fuck it would be, economy would collapse.
No, actually it wouldn't. This is the myth that if women suddenly came out, this is the myth that the corporations and the current governments want you to believe, that if women suddenly came out of the workforce, the economy would collapse. You do realize that there is something called history, right? That thousands of years of civilizations have come and gone with women not being in the front line of work, women not contributing to the GDP. Literally hundreds of years civilizations have come and gone. Empires were built and crumbled without women being in the forefront. This is such complete and utter bullshit and a complete myth that if women suddenly... This is the same, by the way, argument that migrants make. Muslims make all that shit. Muslims make the same argument that if suddenly the foreigners leave, this country will fall apart. No, it wouldn't. I promise you it wouldn't. It would be perfectly fine. They will find a way through. I know it sounds amazing, but they would. So we should force women force women onto oil rigs and men into nursing. Yes, cognitive dissonance, 100%. There should be incentives for men to become child carers and nurses, and women to become oil rig workers and plumbers. I want that. For equality, yes, 100%. I want oil rig workers to, if women oil rig, I want quotas. I want quotas for plumbers, dustbin collectors, and sewer maintenance people. I want quotas for women, 50% quotas. I want literally jobs posted for sewer workers and oil rig workers and fucking deep sea welders to say we will only hire women for these roles because we want to bring up the percentage of women. Where is the quotas for that? How come we got quotas for the Labour fucking party MPs, but we don't have quotas for oil rig workers? Where are the quotas for those? I want those. I want to see, because that would expose exactly what women actually, these feminists are about. I want those things to absolutely expose. You know, there's a joke Dave Chappelle made once. He says, it was amazing. Feminism came around right about the time they invented air conditioning. Oh, it was all good once they invented air conditioning for those cushy office jobs. But no women wanted to go out into the fucking field. No women was volunteering to be on those oil rigs and those and building those skyscrapers on those beams. You seen those pictures, those black and white pictures of men on those skyscrapers? Hold on. Hold on, let me see if I can get some of these black and white pictures of men. Let me get this biatch. Okay, you see this? Yeah, I want that lineup to be women. That's what I want to see. I want to see that to be women. I want to see these images of all nothing but women. Yeah, bad bitches. I'm boss bitches. That's what I want. I want women to be doing this kind of work, this kind of back-breaking work up thousands of feet above, hundreds of feet above the sky. So many of them fell and died during those times. Yeah, that's what I want. I want women. I want to see women now. Come on, you boss bitches, right? You're all boss bitches, right? You all can do what men can do, right? Let's see you. Let's see you get on there. I'm done with this bullshit. I'm done. I think men should stop going for these types of jobs until there's 50% of women doing those jobs. I don't give a shit. I think when men should stop doing it. Watch this fucking infrastructure crumble before them, and then see how many of these women will volunteer to do these jobs. Because I guarantee you, women will watch the world crumble before they'll volunteer to do the job themselves. They will watch the place go to shit before they'll actually roll up their sleeves to do it. No, I'm not looking at gender wars. I'm not out for the gender wars. I'm out for real equality. I want the real fucking equality. I want the women to be doing the back-breaking work that men have done for thousands of years to build this cushy world around us. I actually want women to pull their weight, believe it or not. That's what I actually want. I want them to pick up their end of the couch. This is exactly what Bill Burr said one time. He goes, so when the hell is going to be your turn to pick up your end of the couch? I want women to pick up their end of the couch and carry and pull some of their own weight for a change. But I guarantee you, we'll wait 1,000 years before women start volunteering for these jobs. I'll promise you that.
Like, women are like integral to the workforce. So imagine looking at people who contribute so much and saying, we're going to deny you the right to have any say in the country's future. Does that even seem remotely fair to you guys? Does it make sense, by her logic, when she says only the people who do the extremely hard jobs and the difficult stuff are the ones who should get the right to vote and do anything? Then
no. I mean, again, you're misrepresenting what she says. You're completely misreading everything she says. She says she's talking about women having to take the burden of responsibility for the privileges that they get. You get the privilege of voting, so you pick up your end of the couch. You pick up your end. You carry your weight. You do your part to build the infrastructure that allows you to live the comfortable life that you do. But you don't. Women don't want to do that. That's how it is. We know that. We know that, again, men are the ones who have to win the races. Women stand at the finish line and fuck the winners. We all know this is to be true.
Does it make sense to those people who are doing those jobs to see men who aren't doing those difficult jobs also get a right to vote?
You want divorce to be made illegal.
Yes.
Why?
Yes, because I don't think what we have today is really marriage. What is marriage? It's for better or for worse, for richer or for poor, in sickness and in health, till death do us part. That's what marriage is supposed to be. But feminists have ruined marriage for the people that actually believe in marriage.
How?
When there's a 50% divorce rate.
No, you haven't. They haven't ruined it. The fact is that marriage has become and has always been a bad deal. It is a bad contract for men, because women do, again, it goes back to the responsibility. Women want all the perks, none of the responsibility, none of the back draws. Just like Kevin Samuels always says, life is about compromise and the consequences. And so you either take the consequences of the burden of marriage and actually go, want to go through with it, with all the hardship, with all the other compromises and trade-offs that you have to make in order to make a marriage work, or you don't. Now, whether I don't even think it's feminists, it's pussy politicians, it's pussified politicians that have made marriage a complete waste of time, a complete shill of what it's supposed to, the institute that it's supposed to be. When you're going to allow same-sex people to get married, anyone gets married, it has no meaning anymore. Marriage doesn't have its actual core meaning in these societies. And so if that is gone, it doesn't matter whether you make it illegal or legal, divorce illegal or legal. That's nonsense. People are just not going to get married anyway. If you make divorce illegal, you'll kill the institute of marriage. That's what you're going to do, because people are like, hell no, I'm never getting married. The fact is that it's not to do with the law. This is the problem. I think, although I know Pearl is saying these things because they're incendiary sort of comments and they make feminist women's heads explode. But the bottom line is that laws and politics are downstream from culture. We have lost the culture of marriage. We've lost the social culture and the social stigma behind divorce. Divorce is supposed to have a stigma attached to it. It's supposed to be a bad thing. If you're a woman that is a divorcee, it is a bad thing for you. It should be shunned. You should be ashamed that you couldn't make a marriage work. But that is not the case anymore. No one actually, there is no social consequence for divorce. And if there's no social consequence for divorce, then it doesn't matter what you do with the laws and the politics. The fact is that if there's no social consequence for divorce, then, if the divorce is illegal, then you're just going to simply make cohabitation much more popular. People are not going to get married. They're not going to sign on that little stupid certificate, but they'll live together for decades and decades, or years and years. That's what you're going to do. People will switch. People are not just going to, go, oh no, marriage is now illegal, but we'll still get married. What are you, crazy? If there's no out, women are not going to get married, men are not going to get married. You're just going to make cohabitation effectively a mandatory state of existence. So no, making marriage illegal is nonsensical and it's stupid. But unfortunately, Pearl, I think, is just saying that as an incendiary kind of comment. I don't see her thinking that one through in any shape or form. But the reality is that socially, it should be shunned that you're not living together. The word bastard should become a real thing again. It used to be quite a. It still is an insult, by the way. It's still used as an insult, you dirty bastard. But people don't actually acknowledge. All you single mamas out there with your baby daddies, you do know you have a horde of fucking bastards around you, right? All your little Jimmys and Lucindas and Bobbies and whatever, they're all little bastards running around. If your father never married your mother, you are a bastard. You are a bastard child. I know you might not want to hear that. It may not sound too good, but if your mother didn't marry your dad, you're a bastard, and that is not a good thing. That should be a horrible state of affairs. But of course, the reason they never they've destroyed the term bastard, and they've destroyed the stigma attached to it, is because there's just so many single mothers out there that you don't want to make all these little boys and girls, little Timmys and Rachels miserable by looking at them and saying, you do know you're a little bastard, right? Your name, you're a Jon Snow. Hell, they fucking made Jon Snow a hero in that fucking thing. Although actually it turns out Jon Snow wasn't a bastard at all. That's the irony. In Game of Thrones, Jon Snow actually wasn't a bastard because his mother and father actually did get married. He wasn't the child of Ned Stark. He was a child of whatever, one of the Valyrians. So yeah, ironically, Jon Snow wasn't actually a bastard. But nevertheless, yes, being a bastard is a bad thing.
And the average marriage
Why is that all
8
down to the
years.
women, though?
I didn't say that it was all down to the women.
So why
But
feminists women?
you asked why I want divorce to be banned.
Yeah.
Can I finish
Yeah.
that first? So
The
believe in
audacity of a bitch.
She said, "Can I finish?"
The audacity.
How'd
of
you
a
let
bitch.
anybody finish?
The
her point?
audacity of a bitch
Hey.
that don't let nobody finish. My guy,
Hey,
press play.
my
Jesus
masculine
fuck-
homie.
divorce gonna be in
I'm about to start calling her just masculine things. That's gonna be her new nickname. Just masculine things.
Just manly things.
Just manly things. Yay, we about to call her say, hey, that's a new nickname for Pearl. We were from just lonely things to just manly things. Okay.
Yeah, there you go. They throw more shade. They're just, just more manly things, more dude. I don't know what shall I call you? Curly and friendship bracelet man. I mean, what the hell? What the hell? What's with that hair? I mean, I know, Abba, you kind of discovered that, yeah, that was ridiculous. But Preach hasn't really changed his image, though. Preach is still basically wearing 1,000 friendship bracelets. But yeah, what am I going to say? What am I going to say, Curly and Mo?
Okay, let's keep going. Big announcement. We're going on tour. What? Yes.
Oh, for fuck's sake. I have to fast forward there.
people that actually believe in for better or for worse, for richer or for poorer, in sickness and in health till death do us part.
But doesn't the sanctity of marriage also rely on the woman being a virgin, so you wouldn't be able to get married?
Oh my god, I got so excited over this fucking comment.
Oh, tell me you're a whore.
But that has nothing to do with it. Yes, well done. Yes, she herself has said many a time she regrets that she didn't wait and gave up her virginity so easily. But unfortunately, she is a product of the 21st century and the Western world that we've created. Yes, she should have waited till she got married to lose her virginity. That would have been a good thing. Sorry, I'm reading some comments here, and the Cognitive is saying that the average length of a marriage in the UK is 11.9 years. There you go. Why should people even get married? Actually, wait a minute. The average length of a marriage in the UK at the time of divorce for opposite sex couples, yeah, I guess heterosexuals, is 11.9 years. Like, what's the fucking point? 11.9 years to lose everything as a man, to lose everything you've ever fucking worked for, and have your heart broken and become a serf, fucking effectively put yourself in indentured servitude to your children at the behest of a fucking angry woman who's gonna fucking resent you for years and years and will do anything to try to fucking make your life a misery. Believe me, I know plenty of men in that position right now. One of my closest friends right now is effectively working as a serf for his fucking baby mama. I mean, it is what it is. The idiot went ahead and got her fucking pregnant. The high divorce rate keeps the housing market buoyant. At least, there you go. That's actually what a lot of MGTOWs are saying, that actually the government wants these marriage and divorces to continue in their cycles, because it's the men who work themselves to fucking death. A single man doesn't really have any real reason to kill himself to death for the country. He doesn't give a, he can just live most of us men can live very modest lives. We don't need 5-bedroom houses. We don't need 2 cars. We don't need a lot of things. I'm perfectly happy with my car, with my motorbike, and a very modest standard of living. Most of the stuff I spend my money on, to be honest with you, flamboyant shit, is usually computer equipment. Maybe some fashionable, clothing from time to time, but barely that. If it wasn't for women, I would have a ton of fucking money, because unfortunately I know there is a price attached to dating women. There's a certain amount of money that I have to spend, and I'm not talking about like I go out with gold diggers. The fact is that if I go out with a girl, and if I see her, if we're not living together and I see her 2 or 3 times a week, every time I see her, I have to go out. I have to go to a restaurant, I have to go to a bar, I have to go to a club, I have to go to some place, some activity has to take place. Most women are not going to be happy with just coming around my place, watching some streaming movie. We can stream a movie, eat a pizza, and then bump uglies until morning. They're not happy with that. You got a tiny handful of women I found that would be happy with that scenario. 99% of them want to do some activity, and if I'm not willing to go out, they start complaining. I become a bum. So if I go out with a woman, I'm on average, this is a minimum cost. It's usually far more than that. If I do nothing, if I see her once a week, I'm dropping £400 to £500 a month for almost nothing. Almost doing virtually nothing, just going to a couple of bars or just a few places. That's a minimum £100 a night minimum. That's if I do the minimum. If I want to be a bit more flamboyant, then we're talking over £1,000 a month easily. I'm dropping on a girl for us to have activities, to go out and do shit. That's on average. It's very, very average. That I'm if I'm dating a girl, I'm dropping about £1,000 a month. Just on all that. Most people budget £1,000 a month for their fucking livelihoods. Most people are like, okay, I have to pay the mortgage. Some people's mortgages are like £1,000 a month. I know a lot of people, their rent is certainly £1,000 a month. So that's been my experience. That if I go out in London with a girl, even 2 or 3 times a week, that's the kind of costs that I'm basically looking at. Now, I could do a lot with £1,000 a month. Hell, I could just fucking save it, just straight put it into a savings account and do a hell of a lot more than drinks and restaurants. But but the thing is, that is a lifestyle that I want to live anyway. Now, a girl with a girl or without a girl, but I can afford, if I'm not with a girl, to not go out every week. I don't have to go out every week. But with a girl, it's virtually impossible. I've found very few girls who are just going to sit and watch a couple of fucking, if I'm only seeing them once or twice a week. If I'm living with them, it's a little bit different. It changes. But that's my experience. I'm just giving you my experience of what scenarios that I've faced. And I guarantee you, every time I don't have a girlfriend, every time I'm in between girlfriends, I'm saving a shitload of money, which unfortunately the next girlfriend swallows up in like a week. in a couple of months, she basically takes it all, and more. But that's it. And this is why they want you to be with a woman, because women are force a man to go out and work. Because every time I'm with a girl, I'm like, okay, I gotta make more money. Holy shit, this one's a fucking high maintenance. Get a mortgage and rent it out, mate, for that. Exactly, incel. Anyway, let's keep going.
Homegirl didn't want to make any arguments. He said, we going petty.
Yeah.
I ain't mad at you.
I looked it up.
Because I enjoy it.
You not a virgin.
Also, I hate whenever fucking Pearl says these vows because they involve so many other things.
Yeah.
And she never mentions that.
She
never talks about the labor involved in marriage. She just says you can't leave.
That's a remix.
Yeah.
That's the remix.
And also, Pearl's fine with men stepping out of the marriage. Christianity allows for divorce in case of adultery.
What do you mean?
Well, you've spoken quite openly about how you're not a virgin, and so if you want to preserve that sanctity of marriage, then I just think that you're upholding standards that you don't actually live.
Anyone here for some?
I should have actually put this in the thumbnail.
I just think that you're upholding standards that you.
Yeah, I should have made that a thumbnail. That was a mistake. That was a fucking. It's the first time I've seen Piers Morgan actually not interrupt or say anything. He just kept his mouth shut. But I think that's the reason he brought the other girl on, is so that he doesn't have to actually be the one, challenging her.
You don't actually
It's just. Anyone here for some biscuits?
The zoom on his face. There's actually a clip that's so hilarious.
What?
You look at men, right, in terms of like their vibe.
Okay. Now that you can see, they pivoted from this moment to Ethan Hawke, Ethan from H3 channel, Ethan Klein. Sorry. So yeah, if you notice, they stopped addressing the Piers Morgan interview. Now they've gone to Ethan Klein because they just want to dunk on Pearl at this stage. They're not interested in actually continuing the review because Pearl actually did quite good at that point. So this is why I'm actually going to carry on with the actual Piers Morgan interview rather than pivoting to H3's interview with Pearl, because I'm not here to dunk on Pearl. I'm here to give an honest assessment.
stats that you're putting down are perhaps correct in some universities.
Which
Okay,
stats?
They just kind of.
No, it wasn't. It was self-made.
It wasn't.
Yes, it was.
Hang on, they have mothers, they have.
Okay, I'd love for the feminine. We should have the freedom without the responsibility.
Okay, well, I don't think that I'm physically built for that. You might be, but
Okay.
Feminine until we do the
Right.
equal work. So no, listen.
Hold on.
Please apply for the oil rigs.
their lives. They have mothers, they have sisters. They about like repeal the 19th. Women shouldn't be allowed to vote.
Oh, yeah.
How is that misogynistic?
I wouldn't call it misogynistic. I say be equal. So again, men
think
do
that's what
all
most
of the.
feminists are
Well,
saying.
then okay, I'd love for the feminists. Please apply for the oil rigs. Please go do the hard jobs in society.
Why
They're
don't you
open.
go and
They're
work there?
hiring because I don't equate for. I don't think men or women are equal until we do the
Right.
equal work. So no, listen. Go apply to be on the oil rigs. Go be a plumber. Go be an electrician. Go be on the front lines of the military, and then we should have equal rights. But until feminists are willing to do that, I don't believe we should have the freedom without the responsibility.
Okay, well, I don't think that I'm physically built for that. You might.
Yeah, no, don't worry, love. Don't worry. We'll find a spot for you on a bricklaying on a construction site. Trust me, you can lay some bricks, and I'm not talking about every time you go to the toilet. I think that this girl is perfectly capable of doing some bricklaying work. She doesn't have to carry the bags of cement, but you can do the bricklaying part. I can find you a job. I promise you, I can find you a job on a construction site. I guarantee you I can find you a job on a construction site. It's not that you can't do it. You just don't want to do it.
Might be, but I'm absolutely
That's
not.
a
You
bit-
said you were
Wow,
a volleyball.
wow.
You said you were a volleyball player, and so you've got more strength than I do. I don't think.
But
that
I don't
can
have more
do
strength.
those
I don't have
jobs.
more strength than
But
the
I'm not
average
going to take
man.
your right away to
I don't
do
have
it.
I don't have more strength than the average man. But again, it goes back to go be a plumber. You want to be equal, go be
That's
equal.
what I
Also,
do.
but you want divorce to be made illegal.
Yes.
Why?
Yes, because I don't think what we have today is really marriage. What is marriage? It's for better or for worse, for richer or for poor. And
Okay.
this divorce rate. And the
Yeah, we've seen some of these. So I'm going to skip
average
some.
marriage. You asked why I want for better or for
Marriage also rely on the woman being a virgin, so you wouldn't be able to get married.
What do you mean?
Well, you've spoken quite openly about how you're not a virgin, and so if you want to preserve that sanctity of marriage,
I
then
think,
I just think that you're upholding standards that you don't actually live by. Sanctity of marriage, then I just think that you're upholding standards that you
I think they zoomed in on the Abba Preach one on his face a little bit more because I didn't realize this was a little bit different, and then the eyebrows.
don't actually live by.
That was pretty good from Piers Morgan.
And that's a fair complaint. I wish I was. But we can't go back. I don't know what you want me to say.
Yeah, but I just don't think it's fair that you get to be here and you get to be paid for your views, and you're telling other women that they shouldn't be.
Yes, she's telling other women, especially those younger virgin women, don't give up the coochie until you're married. If you like it, you should put a ring on it. She's right. She's not saying, she's actually giving a warning to the ones that are coming up behind her to say, don't make the mistakes I made. Hold on to that hymen. No hymen, no diamond. As Undead Chronic always puts, no hymen, no diamond, ladies. That's right. You want that 12-carat diamond from De Beers? You want that $250,000 diamond? Show me the hymen. Show me the hymen. I want that bedding that wedding night bedsheet to be fucking drenched in your virgin blood. you know, and this comes from my particular end of the world, my culture. You know that it is a tradition that after the wedding night of the husband and wife, they have their if you like, their marriage consummated. It is a tradition that the mother of the bride takes the bed sheets and hangs them outside to show everyone that her daughter was a virgin on her wedding night. That was a custom in the Middle East, and in some parts it might still be a custom where they would hang the bed sheets out to show the blood. And I think in some cases somebody had to get cut, if you know what I mean. Somebody had to take a razor blade out and make some blood. I know a lot of. I remember when I was a child. I remember at least one wedding where we suspect somebody had their finger pricked on the wedding night, because there was no hymen to be found on that one. Hey man, all I'm saying is this is how important to some cultures virginity is. How incredibly important it was for the cultures to show that their daughter was a virgin when she got married. The parents were and I'm saying was, but I think this is still a major issue where they want their daughter to be known to the world that their daughter was a virgin. This was a point of pride. This was a point of family honor. So, this was how important it was. You realize back in the day, in the medieval era, they had things known as chastity belts, right? They had chastity belts. You guys remember chastity belts? Let me see if I can bring up some pictures. Let me see if I can bring some images. Let me You guys know about these things, right? These were some of the things that were imposed upon the woman in order to make sure that her chastity was observed. Look at this fucking thing. Yeah, you imagine trying to pass your Johnson through that. Holy shit, man. Yes. This was how important it was for women to have their chastity. Actually, no, I don't think that's a chastity. I think that's something else. That's a modern innovation. I'm not sure these are the modern versions, I guess. But that one looks like a sex toy. I'm not gonna lie to you. That doesn't look like a chastity belt. Obviously, these were. Yes, this is the length people went to make sure that their daughter's chastity was protected. Nothing. Yeah, I think these are sex toys. I don't see those. I don't think those are real chastity belts. But yeah, that's what the hell. Oh my god, that's a chastity belt for dogs? I think that's a chastity belt for female dogs. Holy shit. But yeah, this was how important it was. So you guys can go ahead and scoff at, how barbaric. People gave a crap about things like that. Virginity matters. Virginity matters, people.
be allowed to.
I think,
And they should
what
abide by
is the-
something.
Hang on. Okay,
what
let me,
is the
if I may, at some stage jump in. Isn't the whole point of being a feminist, though, that women are entitled to have their own views?
Absolutely, and
So she's perfectly entitled to her views.
Yeah, but you can't-
You might not like
but
them.
I'm here to
But
challenge
isn't she
them.
exercising her rights as a... Are you a feminist?
No, I am not.
Really?
No, I wouldn't. Don't go that far.
You don't want to be a feminist?
No, because I think if feminists really believed in equality, but you guys don't, I would love for you. There is an oil rig hiring. There is an engineering
I would actually
firm
love to see
hiring.
Ava Santana on an oil rig.
No, seriously.
I,
There is a
I,
building
I
being
100% agree with that. I support that. I want this blonde bimbo to be on an oil rig, covered in fucking shit, trying to put one of those fucking drill shits together. I want that. Yes, I do. I 100% support that particular notion, to see this harpy on a fucking oil rig, working her ass off, actually trying to, what's it called? Trying to put one of those oil. Hold on. Let's see if we can find one of these oil rig fucking scenes. Yeah, precisely that. I want her doing this. Okay? This is what I want to see feminists do. Feminists, where are you? I'm sure they're hiring. Where are you, feminists? Come to me. Come to me, feminists. Look at these fucking men. Look at this. This is what men are doing to keep your fucking cushy little fucking lives going, okay? This is what men are doing. This is what men are fucking... This is what men are surviving, okay? That's an oil rig during some kind of storm, I guess. Okay? That's what I want you to... I want to see feminists there. I want to see all of these fucking feminists. I want to see her on that fucking rig doing this work. This is what I want. But I guarantee you, 1,000 years from now, it will still not happen. You can have feminism for 1,000 years and you won't see one fucking woman do this job. Because you lazy ass, cushy little fucks don't want to ever fucking that. Don't get me wrong. I'm not volunteering for this shit. But then again, I'm not asking for fucking feminism. And if it came down to it, then I would... Oh man, I don't want to do this job. I really don't want to do this. This is a fucking nightmare job. But either way, that's what men are doing to keep your fucking lives the way it is. And you guys go out and protest against oil rigs and oil. Oh, just stop oil. Just stop oil. These are the ones who are fucking keeping your cars and your electricity and your lights on. These are the ones who keep your fucking iPhones
love to
running.
see Ava Santana on an oil rig.
Seriously. There is a building being built next to my building. Go do it, feminists. Go do it. And me,
Paul,
I'm saying
the same job that I'm doing right now.
When you find the man you want to get married to, are you saying you will be with that man whatever happens the rest of your life?
yes, for the vows that we're supposed to live.
By the way, this is a thing that a lot of people are complaining about. Pearl not doing this or not doing that. I asked Pearl straight up. Now, admittedly, I wasn't fully convinced that she was going to do it, but she said if she finds she likes kind of firefighters and firemen who are the stereotypical strong big fire guys. She says if she finds one, she'll quit this whole internet shtick and she'll just live with a man with a fireman's wages. Now, she said that to me on her show. I will find the clip and I'll probably cut it into this video maybe later on in time. But yeah, she said she would do it. She said she would do that. She would live with a fireman on a fireman's wages and live a humble life. And if she means it, now we'll see. Time will tell. But if she actually does it, then I guess it'll shut up a lot of these idiots who say that she wants the high class man. I mean, she may want the high class man, but let's be honest, Pearl is like, she rates herself as a 6. In most times, she's at best a 6, quite often lower than a 6. So yeah, Pearl is definitely not a supermodel of any sort. So yeah, she's probably gonna, there's a good chance she'll get her fireman. But if she does, good luck to her.
But how do you know you can?
She's full of BS still. Actually, let me see. Feminists in Iran are a bit too busy. Feminists in Iran are a bit too busy on the oil rigs. No, that's the problem. They're not too busy on the oil rigs. There are no feminists in Iran. Men are such awesome creatures. Repeat. Exactly. It's just, I just think that most of these very, very comfortable, very, very well looked after feminists and men and women, all of us are so lazy, fat, well-fed, comfortable people who make money barely doing anything, and live very comfortable lives. We don't realize how this world is kept, how this world is held together, this impossible infrastructure that is being held together with impossible tasks that are being accomplished. Men are doing incredible work, and that women don't even begin to realize how much we depend on these great men who do these amazing work. Let me play this a little bit more, and then I'm looking for something.
Keep them.
I mean, I think it's a choice. And that's the thing, like, women are so willing to leave marriages because they're not happy. This is not about happiness. The most important thing is the children. And the problem is we have a modern society where it's me, my feelings, leave when I feel like it, instead of doing what's best for the kids.
Ava, I've got to...
Let me quickly bring up this clip from Jordan Peterson. You know, they say, don't bother trying to paraphrase something that's already been said so amazingly well by someone else.
It's okay to be a man.
It's not okay. It's necessary. What the hell are we going to do without men? You look around the city here, you see all these buildings go up. These men, they're doing impossible things. They're under the streets, working on the sewers. They're up on the power lines in the storms and the rain. They're keeping this impossible infrastructure functioning. This thing that works in a miraculous manner. They work themselves to death, and often literally. The gratitude for that is sorely lacking, especially among the people who should be most grateful. You see university professors, especially of the social justice bent, they take everything they have for granted, failing to understand entirely that there's a massive infrastructure of unbelievably hardworking, solidly laboring, working class men breaking themselves in half on a regular basis, making sure that everything that always breaks works.
It's okay to be a man.
It's not okay. It's necessary. What the hell are we going to do without men? You look around the city here, you see all these buildings go up. These men, they're doing impossible things. They're under the streets, working on the sewers. They're up on the power lines in the storms and the rain. They're keeping this impossible infrastructure functioning. This thing that works in a miraculous manner. They work themselves to death, and often literally. The gratitude for that is sorely lacking, especially among the people who should be most grateful. You see university professors, especially of the social justice bent, they take everything they have for granted, failing to understand entirely that there's a massive infrastructure of unbelievably hardworking, solidly laboring, working class men breaking themselves in half on a regular basis, making sure that everything that always breaks works.
It's okay to be a man.
So yeah, you know what I mean. You know what I'm saying.
Say it's a little bit listening to Andrew Tate, where some of it I really don't agree with. I don't agree with the vote stuff. When I hear things like that, I think there'll be a lot of people, especially older generation women.
Now, I just want to make a note. Aberrant Preach never went into this part. Never went into the part where Piers Morgan actually started agreeing with Pearl and started to make some of her points for her slightly better, or just rephrasing them. They pivoted. What did they do? These dishonest little shits. They pivoted to the H3 interview because they just wanted to keep on dunking on Pearl. They weren't interested in actually giving credit where credit is due.
Perhaps, who think, you know what, she's got a point.
Well, I mean, I believe in agency. So I think that if a woman is going to look after her children in divorce, that's absolutely fine. I also believe in your right to speak your mind about it. What I don't understand...
I'd like to
what
say,
I don't
even before the
understand-
1920s,
Do you know what I mean?
women could speak openly. This idea that, like, women couldn't talk the last 500 years. There have been women
I know,
throughout
but the American
history
state
that have
education
been-
system has
that
failed before, and it's failing now.
There have been women throughout history that have read, written, and been very influential in society.
Okay.
So this idea like women could never do it.
Do you know what
believe
what
it.
I don't understand though is when it gets spiteful, okay? Because you put down a few arguments that I think are perfectly, like, you know, they're kind of evangelical and they're Christian, but those are your right to say it. What I don't understand is when it kind of seeps into this sort of, you call women fat, you say that they shouldn't have
Are they
abortions,
fat?
you say that
Are
they
they
have
fat?
STDs. You know,
I mean, the question is, are they fat? Yes or no?
why pass
The
that
average
kind of
American
judgment?
woman is 170 pounds. That's objectively overweight.
I mean, let's be honest. We now celebrate morbid obesity as some kind of body positive thing, and it is complete nonsense. So actually, on that point again, there's a bit of truth in
And this
that.
is the problem. This is the problem.
How have we come to celebrate morbid obesity as body positive? It's nonsense.
We're not talking about morbid obese. I was actually watching your podcast earlier, and you spoke to someone who was, I would say, probably a size 12, and you called her fat, obese, and a divorcee.
She was fat, obese, and a divorcee.
wasn't.
I mean, like, I don't know what to say. This is the thing, women, we don't want to live in reality. We don't want to say things that are true. Was she fat? Yes. Was she a divorcee? Yes. These things are just objective facts.
Okay, I'm going to have to
And
objectively...
she insulted me first. They always...
Anyway, yeah. So that's that. Okay, guys and girls, I do have the StreamYard link in the top section there. If anybody wants to jump in, let me know. If not, I'm going to end this biatch because I've kind of said what I needed to say in regards to this. Sorry, guys, I'm a little bit distracted. Also, I'm doing something else at the same time. But yeah, so we can move into the what's it called? The actual thingy portion, the panel portion of this particular stream. If anybody wants it, if nobody wants it, I am out of here. I can just end it all. End it all, I say. So let me know. Let me know. I've kind of blown my load on this now. I'm sort of done. Let's see what's happening in the chat here. Let's have a quick look at the chat. Have you seen the Dutch government has... Have you seen the Dutch government has collapsed? Oh, wow. No. Thank you, Victoria. I don't like JP much, but he's 100% correct on this. JP? Who's JP? Oh, damn it. Sorry, I don't know exactly who he means by JP. She's full of BS still. Years after Sweden changed manhole covers to person hole covers, still no woman does the job doing down them. Exactly. They changed them from manhole covers to person hole covers. Still no woman going down there, though. Still all the people going down there are men. Who knows? Maybe some of them are trans men. Ah, Jordan Peterson. I see. Is it possible the workery stuff put a stop to that? I'm sorry, I'm missing something here. Oh, Jordan. Yep. Okay. Maybe if the strain of mindset that exists when women were doing mechanical jobs in England during World War II had continued into today, women would be doing oil rigs jobs. Well, maybe it would, but the fact is that right now, no one's stopping a woman from going into an oil rig or climbing down a manhole into the sewers. Nobody's stopping women from doing any of that. Oh, hold on. I got someone in the chat. What's up, MC? How's it going, dude?
I'm doing good. I'm sitting in my room. I'm getting drunk, and I'm happy about it.
Good man.
Yeah. It's not only a picture, I am also doing it now.
I see. Good man. So you're drinking your woes away. How's things in general? How's life?
Well, how is life? You know, to be honest, as a hardcore cynic and nihilist at times, when Jordan Peterson was complaining about gratitude, lack of gratitude towards men, it did a little piss me off, because I'm like, haven't you grown up to the point where you know that gratitude towards certain groups and anybody in general, it's a fucking fairy tale. Comes straight from a childhood La La Land, when they teach us about how we should be as a people. But Banksy, really, have you experienced much gratitude in life from many people? I mean, from a lesser percent, probably, didn't you?
Sorry, could you repeat?
When the concept of gratitude was introduced by Jordan Peterson, that short video.
Yeah.
In most of the people in your life, you didn't experience gratitude from most of them, from a few, but higher percentage was like it should make you disillusioned a long time ago.
Yeah, I mean, I don't expect anyone to have. I don't know. I mean, you're right. I don't see a huge amount of gratitude for the world that so many great men have built. That we live in this very comfortable life. But
that's true.
You know, I don't know whether that was even asked for, because the men who did it didn't do it for our gratitude. They did it because they wanted to feed their children. They didn't do it with like, oh, I wonder if in a 50 years or 100 years from now, the little spoiled dicks are going to be all grateful about what I've just done today. No, they weren't doing it like that. That's the thing. Most people don't operate on those levels. Most people are like, I need to feed my children, so I have to go and do this backbreaking work. I need to look after my fellow soldier friend. That's why I have to run in towards these bullets, because I have to make sure my friend survives. They're not doing it because they're worried about leaving a legacy. I mean, this is something that I actually a little bit disagree with. For example, what's his name? Andrew Tate, who says, "Oh, I have to leave a legacy. I have to have many children, many boys, in order for them to have my legacy behind me, and all that." I don't think that's the case. I think that you don't do things like that for legacy. You do it because at the time, that is the great thing to do, or that is the thing you want to achieve. I don't think, Zuckerberg or Elon Musk is going around thinking about, oh, I have to leave a legacy. No, because, at least maybe Elon Musk is doing some of the things that he's doing now for that. But when he first started off, I don't know, he didn't make PayPal because he thought, I have to leave a legacy. Zuckerberg didn't make, Facebook, or before that it was like Hot or Not or whatever he did. No, he did it because he wanted to, just rate some girls at Harvard and just do some childish boys stuff. He didn't think he's going to leave a legacy of Facebook behind. Most people don't. Most people are not doing it in that sort of way. They're just doing it because at the time that is the thing that they want to do. That is the thing that brings them joy.
Yeah, because they are culturally enslaved towards bowing down and kowtowing to the, and also by the hormones, let's face it, to the great uterus. I'm not saying it any other way, because I don't want YouTube to demonetize for whatever they think. They didn't put the clamps on the word uterus, so yes, I will be calling fucking uteruses on that.
Oh, the uterus havers.
Yes.
I don't know, man. I don't know. It just seems insane. So what do you think about Just Pearly Things? Do you watch her content?
At times, but for real, let her fucking hire a few experts before she made anything. I admit I'm a little bit more Machiavellian when I'm thinking about certain things, and she is shooting herself constantly in the foot with certain things. Not about when she's talking about men's problems, but not when she talks about because it is true. The woman behave, and it's not only in the States, by the way. The way they behave.
Sorry.
And
what were you saying? The way they behave.
The way that the woman behave in the States when she's saying it's spreading worldwide, and yes, she's right about those things. And yes, Abba and Preach, I just want to have a war with her to exhaust her. That's also true, but
yeah, I mean,
what did she expect?
Do you actually watch Aberrant Preachers material?
Sometimes I do, and sometimes of course, I agree with them. Most of the times not. But listen, they have different minds and of different, of course, setting, and they have their own audience to please.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. They have their own particular. I mean, they have to kind of appeal to their own audience. But the thing is, their audience, I find, would have not necessarily turned against them if they were more supportive of Just Pearl. I don't see that as being a major sort of. Their audience would have been fine either way, because these guys have takes on all different aspects of different things. Dating
Yeah,
and all
but if I would be Pearl, if I would say, the one thing that really struck me, how in general, PR wise and also geopolitically dumb she is, when she were hanging out with Myron and that other guy from Fresh and Fit. I don't know who is that other guy. And it's not only about that, but listen, I would never take those two as a role model for being alpha males. To me, to take an example from them. I mean, fuck them. To be honest, I'm sorry. And it's not only about blacks, but any other race. When this guy pretended he's some kind of a brown Klansman or whatever. That was funny. How idiotic that was. You call that alpha? I call that fucking girly behavior, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with you. The funny thing is, I found, I think it was Fresh and Fit. They were interviewing someone, actually. Oh, damn it. I think it was on Rumble, though, so I have to go check it out. They were actually interviewing someone that was, Tommy Robinson. They were actually interviewing Tommy Robinson recently.
Links. I have to see that.
It's on Rumble. If you go to Fresh and Fit on Rumble, you should find it. And yet that was actually quite shocking because, Fresh and Fit are very close friends with, obviously, Andrew Tate. Myron is a Muslim himself. He's like Sudanese. Although, he's a cultural Muslim, he's not practicing because obviously he drinks and does all sorts of things. But yeah, that was actually a very, very interesting scenario, because even though Myron isn't a practicing Muslim, he's still kind of pro-Islam, and him interviewing Tommy Robinson. Yeah, I've got to actually.
Well, can understand it.
Yeah, I might have to do a review of that next, because that was a very unique situation that you wouldn't normally see. What sort of?
Because I'm.
Go on.
I can understand Myron because as I said, I'm also not a Catholic, but I support the times when I can go and gather with the family and extensively drink and commit gluttony on those holidays. That's the only thing why I'm interested in them in the first place, to be honest. Not because some ancient Jew died on the two sticks and was a masochist, basically, as we all know.
Yeah, I've got the link. I'll put it in the
Robinson.
Yeah, I'll put it in the main chat and side chat here for you to check it out. But it's quite curious. I have to watch the whole thing though. I haven't watched it all yet. I just saw it's 2 hours and 14 minutes. God, I gotta.
Oh, then maybe I will be watching it later, to be honest, because we have to talk now.
Yeah, I have to watch the whole thing so that I can then just take clips that I want and watch those clips, because or review those clips, because I can't review the whole thing. It's ridiculous. Oh, Mr. Mossad, hello, sir. Do you have a license for this stream? Yes. Yeah, I'm gonna post the Rumble link in the main chat for anyone who's interested as well. But
hey, Mr. Mossad, I hope that the Israeli policy hasn't changed to make sure that all men worldwide will be obedient blue pill betas, because you have to really kill me before I would do it.
Actually, Cognitive said that they had Nick Fuentes, and the stream is available on Rumble. I can see it right now. It absolutely is available. It's just that maybe they took it off the YouTube. Maybe they never had it on YouTube. I don't know. But the Nick Fuentes interview is, he's in their studio. No, it's definitely available. Definitely available. I don't know. Maybe Fresh and Fit think that they can handle the Nick Fuentes situation better than Pearl, because Pearl, she got so much crap for that, and I mean, some of it is deserved, some of it is not deserved. I don't know.
Well, because she's like one woman that I knew that wanted to be a mother, but frankly, she in her 20s could not deal and handle a 14-year-old, to behave. So I'm like, bitch, don't get pregnant now. Don't even think about it.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what the situation is with Pearl. I mean, she just, I don't know, man. I think she just thought she could copy a Fresh and Fit model with some elements from maybe Kevin Samuels, and she'll just and she did well. She's done very well out of it for someone who started her entire YouTube career in like 2020. In 3 years to go from almost a nobody to where she is now, that's still pretty impressive. Now, she had some good capital behind her. She paid Sarah Garvey to promote her. She paid a lot of other YouTubers or other scenarios, other things to promote her channel, and she played the algorithm.
And she lacked, unfortunately, the dark empath personality. If you don't know what that is, I will tell you. It's still a person that have a huge amounts of empathy, but it's using it also in quite a nasty Machiavellian way. If you don't know it, probably the most dangerous type you can ever think of. She doesn't have that thing, and that's why she ain't going anywhere far. I mean, what the fuck did she expect? Sarah Garvey is black. She's like really into any black movements, and you can see basically in him kind of a Black Panther heritage. He wasn't the Black Panthers, but you get me where I'm going with it, with the things and stuff he's saying. And did she expect something else of his reaction when she handled the situation with Fuentes the way she handled it? And the way she has spoken, she's this a fucking touch. I would, I get it. I'm Eastern European. I mean, I come from another place in the world, but I know how we tick, and I know that blacks tick a little bit like us. With certain things. You don't say those things are around many of us. You can say that around me because I get it. This is only my local flavor of this kind of a thing. But blacks, those topics, well, it will trigger an avalanche of criticism and an avalanche of "fuck you, bitch."
Actually, hold on. Sorry, I'm just looking at some stuff on my end here. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I'm interested. Actually, there's two videos that I have to kind of sit down and watch from the Fresh and Fit boys.
It's hard for me to tell you anything about Pearl. I mean, you know her personally. You talk with her. You were in one room with her, so it's a little bit harder for me now. And
I mean, I'm actually more interested in your opinions of her, not necessarily give me any sort of information, because I'm more interested in people's impressions of her, and yeah, I get where you're coming from with that. But yeah, there's actually a couple of interviews now that I got to sit down and watch from Fuentes, and I guess Fresh and Fit are branching out, because the whole model of having a bunch of drunk girls in a studio talking about dating is trying to kind of worn itself out now. At least for now. I mean, don't get me wrong. A lot of people are saying, "Oh, the red pill sphere is dead. Red pill is dead. Nobody cares." It's not. It's not dead at all. I want to categorically say that.
Well, but I mean, not we. But the sphere really took a massive L with the recent events.
No. The thing is, what most people don't realize is that from let's say from 2000, let's say the year 2000, because I don't want to go all the way back into the 90s, but let's say from the year 2000. At the beginning of the year 2000, this was late 90s, early 2000, a lot of pickup artistry came and became famous. A lot of pickup artists, Mystery, Styles, a lot of different people came around. And so all the way up until like 2011, 12, the pickup artistry thing was really strong. And there were clubs all around London. I actually went to a couple of events for it and all that stuff. And then all of a sudden it became mainstream. Pickup artistry became mainstream. It was on MTV, all of that jazz. And then that was its kind of decline because a lot of people started to learn how these tactics worked. Women, I know women who knew PUA stuff, who knew negging and shit like that. It was in fact in one of the episodes of The Big Bang Theory. So once it reached that level, then yeah, it kind of, people were like, yeah, it's going to die. And in a way it did, but it's not that it died. It went underground, which is where it's supposed to be. These types of things are not supposed to be mainstream. You know, there was a guy, there was actually a conversation, I heard something, oh no, it was Undead Chronic, I was saying the other night. He said, there was a question, someone asked him a question, should I tell my girl that I'm red-pilled? And he's like, no, you don't tell anyone that you're red-pilled. You just are. You don't tell a girl that you know about red pill and about pickup artistry because she's going to look at you as some weirdo. No, you simply understand the landscape. You understand women's nature. You understand how women think and operate. And then you use that in order to help you try to attract a woman or try to get a woman into bed or try to marry a girl or whatever it is that you want to do. But you don't tell anyone about any of this shit. Because this stuff isn't meant to be for you to broadcast to women. This is meant to be for men who are unsuccessful, who are struggling with women, to understand women's nature a bit better and women's attitudes and thoughts. That's what it's supposed to be. These sort of stuff, red pill talk, whatever, is never meant to be for public consumption. It's always meant to be for quiet spaces where men discuss with other men, their issues and their problems. And that's why it's never going to go away, by the way. People say, oh, it's going to go away. Pickup artistry never went away. Pickup artistry has just become more on the ground and effectively what we call the red pill now. And red pill will never go away because as long as a man wants to attract a woman, this will always be relevant. Because men and women are not going to change that much. We're not going to evolve that much and that different from each other.
Okay, Banksy. But who is guilty of spreading the information and spreading in general the awareness to the wider public about the red pill?
No, it's
the stupid fucking idiots, the men that want to use it. And for example, when I seen a few channel like Mediacode Tutorials, the guy that have this, just that except I don't know, you get me, the guy with this testicular cancer, etc. Before that, he has to show the alpha male strategist video to his own wife or girl, whatever, how she should be reacting to it. And I was like, why the fuck you even showing that to her?
Yeah.
Why should she know even about that stuff?
Yeah, but the thing is, what happened was a bunch of people on the internet especially recognized that this stuff, this red pill stuff, Kevin Samuels realized it, there's money to be made. There's money to be made. There's courses to be sold.
That's my problem.
Yes. And once that happened, then in order for them to make money, they have to go mainstream. They have to become popular. They have to sell it to as many people as possible. So if I have a course to sell, I have to tell as many people as I can to buy my course. I can't just tell 10 people in my local men's club or whatever to buy it. That's not I'm not going to get rich that way. So these grifters who came into the manosphere started to, or the red pill sphere, they started to sell, commercialize this, and of course girls as well. There's plenty of grifter, manosphere, red pill girls in this sphere as well. It's not just Pearl. Pearl is just one of many. There's loads of them on TikTok. In fact, there's so many girls who are talking about, oh, feminism is ruining men. And I'm like, look, love, we know what feminism is doing amongst men. I don't need some woman to tell me. This is exactly what the Rollo Tomassi and others say. You don't ask a fish how to fish. You ask a fisherman how to fish. So I'm not going to go to a woman.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter for now. The young simps and orbiters and other guys that will be around that woman will be giving cash and money to her before they will realize that she's grifting.
100%, dude. These men simp for these women so hard, and all the likes and the adulations and the money that comes with it. Of course, women are going to grift on this in this space as well. But ultimately, the men who are simping for them are just going to simp, and these women are just going to cash in right now. But ultimately, when this whole thing, when the dust settles and the smoke clears, there's still going to be a bunch of lonely young men who are growing up without any game, without any skills, because their fathers are not around, or their fathers themselves don't have any game, or they're single, being raised in a single parent household. And so there will still be appetite for this type of information, because as long as a man wants to go with a woman, there will always be appetite.
Yeah, it will just evolve and come back under a different name. And the story will repeat itself once again. It'll be first. It'll be like some underground stuff.
Exactly.
But then, unfortunately, other grifters will came with them, because you know how corruption works, and you know how the story goes. It always the pendulum always repeats itself.
100%. As long as there's money to be made, there will always be other grifters that will come into the space. But the thing is that this, unfortunately, with the grifters, what they do is they muddy the waters, and they give bad advice as well. They actually give a lot of bad advice. So the problem with the grifters is that they give bad advice, they mislead people, misunderstand certain topics. Sometimes they talk about topics that they don't understand. They just saw it and read it or heard it on someone's YouTube, and they regurgitate it, but they don't actually know the underlying principles behind why they should do what they do, or what they say. They just don't understand. For example, I'll give you an example of a very obvious thing that a lot of grifters try to sell. Is there's a thing called approach anxiety. It is a sense of anxiety that most men feel when it comes to going up to a woman and talking to them. Now, it takes a long time to get over approach anxiety for some men, especially depending on whether you're an introvert, extrovert, your life history, traumas. There's a whole bunch of things that goes into solving your approach anxiety. Most of these people don't have a clue about why and how you should approach your anxieties, and you should try to recover or effectively get over your approach anxiety towards women. They just know that someone somewhere said, "Oh, you just have to go and talk to women in order to get over your approach anxiety," and that's the message that they'll pass on. They will have no underlining understanding of where it came from, how it's generated, why its evolutionary basis for it. They don't know any of that shit. They just know that just tell men, go and talk to women and you'll be fine and you'll recover. This is the same bullshit advice that men have given, or other men or people generally who don't understand dating or approaching women tend to say to other men is, just be confident. Or just what was it? Yeah, just be confident. This is the most useless advice you can ever give anyone ever. People don't
of course, I know.
And it's because I've been saying it. I'm saying it. You can't just go into a shop and pick up a pound of confidence and a kilo of self-esteem. It doesn't work like that. Confidence and self-esteem don't just come magically. They are built. They are created based on your history of success that you have behind you. It's from where you came is what gives you confidence to where you are now, and you have to have built something that has given you that foundation of confidence.
Although my story is a little bit different. My confidence in approaching and talking with people came out of disillusionment and lack of care later on, because I had so many negative experience at times that I was just saying, what the hell? Let's have at least a little bit fun. If this company of people will be bad to me, well, I will talk badly to them too, just for fun of sharpening my tongue. Same with women, by the way, even at the gym. When some Instagram model material is basically upset that I dare to speak with her about the the machine that she's using on the gym, because how dare I even to talk with her? I'm like, okay, it'll be fun, because I'm already preparing the punchline, the comeback, and the insults to thinking. I wonder what her reaction will be to that.
Yeah.
When some bitch is trying to put me down, I remember once, because I'm also, for example, not a tall guy, and she's saying something, those lines to me, and I'm like, oh, so you mean I am taking as much place in the room as the surface of your chest?
Mm.
You get me, surface. That was that she has no tits, basically.
Yeah.
And the funniest part was that her boyfriend was around with it. He didn't fucking even knew what to do, and that was a win for me. So yeah, my confidence came out of that, out of pure desire for retaliation. So it's a little bit different with me, to be honest.
But yeah, I mean, the thing is, this is the other. There's so many things. There's so many levels to a lot of these things. The main point is, because, like, for example, there's a concept in pickup artistry. They say no matter what happens, every time you fail, it's your fault. You have to analyze what you did wrong in order to do better the next time you do the thing that you do. For example, you approach a girl, you try to talk to her, she just turns around and tells you to fuck off. Now, it's hard from that interaction to assess. You failed. She said fuck off. But was that really your fault? Now, that's where I have a problem with this concept of everything is your fault, because sometimes it really isn't your fault. Sometimes you just happen to approach that girl. She was in a bad mood. She just had something bad happen to her. She broke up with her boyfriend. Something happened that she was in that zone. Your timing was wrong. And you approached her, and she just didn't want to even have anything to do with anyone. It could have been anyone. It could have been Brad Pitt. She would have still said fuck off. So it wasn't really your fault. But what you have to then take from that is that maybe I didn't assess the situation properly to understand that this was the wrong time to approach the girl. And I'll be honest with you, approaching a girl at the right time, in that sweet spot, in that right zone, is everything. Is absolutely everything. If you can talk to a girl, approach a girl and talk to her when she's in that zone, in that moment where she's susceptible, your looks don't matter, your muscles don't matter, your height doesn't matter, your money doesn't matter. Just the fact that she just happens to be incredibly susceptible to you at that moment in time, and you caught that window of opportunity, is everything. So if you can do that, all the rest of the shit that people tell you, oh, you got to have muscles and you got to have this and you got to have that, none of it matters. None of it. I've seen the most ugliest men sleep with the most amazingly beautiful women just because they just happened to be there at the exact moment that this girl was receptive to their approach, to their just simply to the way this person was. Now, yes, there are other things. There are things that can help you to increase your percentages, and that's where it all really comes down to, is the percentage. It's all to do with the numbers. You can increase your percentage by having a better body, being muscly, having money, and all the other stuff that you can do. You know, height, I'm not sure whether you can do much about your height, but there are other things, yes, you can do to increase your percentages, but there is nothing you can do. No matter, you can be a god, an Adonis, and if a girl is not susceptible, she's not ready, she's not in that zone where she's ready to take your advances, you have no chance. You have no chance. But that's what I mean. Iceny. Yes, you're right. It increases your percentages. Your percentile rate goes up when you're in a good physical shape. But it's far from a guarantee. It's far from a guarantee. It just means you have a better average. Your batting average goes up. Ask every woman in the pub. One will say yes. No, Victoria, I'm sorry. That is actually wrong. I have asked every woman in a pub. And they've all said no. No, that is completely wrong. That is unfortunately a terrible advice. Because the funny thing is, it all depends on where you are. But if you ask every girl in a pub and they see you crash and burn with the last girl, they will simply say no, just because they don't want to be the one who settled with the guy who desperately went around asking every girl to go out with them. Women have eyes. Women have ears. They can see you in a small space. You could approach 3 women in a confined environment and burn the whole room out, depending on your approach. If you desperately approach 3 women in a bar of, let's say, 50 women, those 3 women, if the other 50 women or the other 47 women see you approach those 3 women in that desperate way, the whole pub is burnt for you. The whole place. You might as well leave. So no, you can't ask every woman in the pub. That is not right. That is not a good advice. Yes, desperation. Yes, women smell desperation very quickly. But it's not, they don't even have to smell it. They see it. They see it on you. They see it in your face. You know why married men get approached? I had quite a few married men friends. And they told me categorically they had far more women approach them once they got a wedding ring than when they didn't have a wedding ring. Once that wedding ring was on their finger, it seemed like almost women couldn't wait to jump on them. And when they were single, no woman wanted to fucking hear from them. I know men, not single men, who wear wedding rings when they go nightclubbing. That's how insane it is.
Banksy, you call me out. You call me out now.
Is that your trick?
It did work a few times, to be honest. I admit that.
I know it works. It's crazy how much it works, but it works. Women, because psychologically how that works is that women see that as a sign that another woman wants you and trusts you. In fact, trusts you so much that she married you. So you are obviously a good provider. You're a good man. You're capable of being good and provide and protect because another woman has married you. She's given that, you know.
But you know something? Banksy, but now I am enlightened. Now I understand why they want me to get married to certain people. Maybe not because I should be somehow fulfill that traditional role. Maybe it is about having easier time to fuck around. Maybe that's the point.
Yes, that could. Something.
Have one that you provide for. And have others to fix your score. Holy shit, that even rhymes.
Well, the thing is, I mean, you know, it's not necessarily you have to get what's it called? You have to get married in order to pick up more women. You can still present yourself as a man who's got pre-selection without doing that, and in fact, it's far better. To, you know, rather than just having a wedding ring, it's far better to have a couple of girls with you in a bar or a club. You will get far more women with women around you than without women around you. So if you want to get women, have women with you. Have women with you as friends. Approach a bunch of women and just simply talk to them for the sake of being around women, not necessarily even wanting to pick up any of them. Not every woman has to be the woman that you want to stick your penis in. Sometimes it's perfectly fine to have women around you as friends, as colleagues, as just generally, you know, people to talk to. Women, believe it or not, are human beings with brains, and they can actually talk to you, and they can share their ideas and their thoughts. Don't get me wrong, not a lot of them. A handful of them I found in my life that are actually worth talking to and conversing with. A lot of them are just airheads, but maybe that's just a lot of women that I happen to find. But yeah, no. There's been times, especially in a nightclub, I've approached older women that were like in like some kind of, I don't know, in their 50s and 60s, but there were just this bunch of group of older women who just came to the bar, a birthday party or something, and I was talking to them. Not because I wanted to sleep with any of them, but because within a few minutes, because they're much more friendly, much more open, they know their mind better than younger girls. But that was just so that I have pre-selection. So I have a bunch of women around me friendly. I'm sitting down. I'm talking to them. We're joking around in order to pick up other girls. That was the purpose. It wasn't to pick any of these women up. Maybe some of them thought I was there to pick them up, but it wasn't. I was there just to sit around and be surrounded by women. Here's I'm the one guy with like 2 or 3 other, and I'll tell you straight up, one of my friends one time actually approached me and whispered in my ear, "What are you doing sitting with these old hags when there's young women to pick up?" And I said to him, "This is why you don't know what the hell I'm doing. You have no idea what I'm doing right now." Because he didn't know game. He was just one of my mates. And I'm like, dude, if you knew game, which I've been encouraging you to learn, then you know what I'm doing. I'm sitting, you would rather me to stand with your lonely ass and 4 other men at the bar rather than sit here, be the one guy surrounded by 6 women. I'm sitting surrounded by 6 women and you're standing there on your lonely ass with 4 other blokes looking like fucking vultures. You guys look like a pack of wolves. Women don't want to fucking approach a bunch of fucking wolves. They know they're going to get torn apart. You don't go and sit with a bunch of fucking, hang around with a bunch of men at the bar surrounded by other men. No, you go and sit with a bunch of women and be surrounded by women. Other women like the fact that they know the women trust you, that you're a sensible guy, that you're a guy that other women like you. This is insanity. I've seen so many blokes, 5, 6 blokes just in one corner of a bar, just with those dagger eyes looking at all the women, eyeing all the women up. Women get fucking uncomfortable as shit with that. It's unbelievable how many times I see blokes. I used to do it myself, by the way. I used to be that guy too. I just stopped being that guy. I just learned better. But yeah, there's so many. But pre-selection is critical, and a lot of men don't understand the basics of that. To be pre-selected by women, to have women that like you, that are friendly to you, that are comfortable with you, goes a massive way with finding other women. 90% in the last, since 2011, so that's about 12 years, almost 90% of women that I've dated through other women. Other women introduced me to these women. Other women brought them over. I used to have a friend of mine. She was awesome as a wing person, as a wing girl. She used to go to other tables of women and encourage them to come and sit at our table. She was the best. She was awesome. She was so lovely. It was one of my colleagues. And yeah, we met hundreds of women because of her. Because she was just fucking amazing. Anyway, my man, I am going to end this bad boy. It's 1:30. I got to get some sleep. Got a lot of things to do tomorrow. I will thank you for coming, dude. I will talk to you soon. Let's catch up again soon enough. MC?
Oh, thank you for tolerating the drunken me.
It's all right, man. I always love you, man. Have a good night. Take care, my man. Cheers. Bye-bye.
Good night.
Okay, boys and girls. It is I and you in the chit chats. Well, to be honest, I think we're kind of done for this evening. I'm just gonna try and find a piece of footage. A piece of music to end the evening with. So, guys, what have we learned tonight? I don't know. Did we learn anything? Do we know anything? Did we understand anything? Probably not. But I hope there's a point to all of this. There you go. There's my inspiration right now. Enjoy the ride, people. Enjoy the ride. Should I play that? Let me. Okay, I'm going to try and read this, probably badly, but I'm going to give it a shot. This is Bill Hicks enjoy the ride. I guess it might make sense if I just have it in the background too. That way, you guys can see it as well. So if I fuck it up, at least you've got it on the screen. It's a bit small. Okay, this is I've read this before, but I'll try it again. Hopefully this time I don't screw it up. This is a quote by Bill Hicks at the end of one of his comedy specials. "The world is like a ride in an amusement park, and when you choose to go on it, you think it's real, because that's how powerful our minds are. The ride goes up and down, round and round. It has thrills and chills, and it's very brightly colored, and it's very loud, and it's fun for a while. Many people have been on the ride a long time, and they begin to wonder, hey, is this real, or is this just a ride? And other people have remembered, and they come back to us and say, hey, don't worry, don't be afraid ever, because this is just a ride. And you know what we do to those people? We kill those people. Shut him up. I've got a lot invested in this ride. Shut him up. Look at my throes of worry. Look at my big bank account and my family. This has to be real. But it's just a ride. But we always kill the good guys who try to tell us that. You never notice. We try to kill those guys who tell us that. You ever notice that? And let the demons run amok. But it doesn't matter, because it's just a ride. And we can change it anytime we want. It's only a choice. No effort, no work, no job, no savings of money. Just a simple choice right now between fear and love. The eyes of fear want to put bigger locks on your doors, buy guns, close yourself off. The eyes of love instead, the eyes of love instead see all of us as one. Here's what we can do to change the world right now, to a better ride. Take all the money we spend on weapons and self-defense each year, instead spend it feeding and clothing and educating the poor in the world, which would pay for many times over. Not one human excluded. And we could explore space together, both inner and outer, forever, in peace." I ballsed it up, guys. I'm sorry. It's getting late. My throat is fucking shot. But yeah, it's just a ride, fellas. And boys and girls, enjoy it while you got it. In the meanwhile, oh man. Why did I pick this one? Pick the wrong section. Let's let's go with this one. I like this one.
Day-o, day-o, daylight come and me wanna go.
Just like to remind everyone to like and subscribe on your way out. And please go to Hafez Reflects and also like and subscribe there. Day-o.
Day, me said day-o. Daylight come and me wanna go home. Work all night on a drink of rum. Daylight come and me wanna go home. Stack banana till the morning come. Daylight come and me wanna go home. Come, Mr. Tallyman, tally me banana.